A few weeks ago, I decided that I want to buy a coffee machine, and when I was looking at the machines and the coffee that is found in most shops, I saw that I had three options to choose from: a normal coffee machine, an Nespresso, or a Dolce Gusto machine from Nescafe, and each one had many coffee options to choose from. So it was a hard decision for me to make. But then I saw this ad of a coffee machine that can make all these three types of coffee. I was really surprised that I didn't think about that before. So, obviously, I ordered one. When I contacted the company, they also sent me this milk frother for free to review. And in this video, I'll try to answer the question that you all have on your mind. It is actually any good. I'll start by unboxing the milk frother. And the first thing we have is the jack body, followed by the power base, which is surprisingly really light, and finally the instruction manual. After removing the lid, we also get some operation steps and cautions, and you also get two types of whisks that I'll talk about later in this video. Moving on to the coffee machine, we are first greeted with a thank you card. Under that, we have the machine itself that is nicely protected, and the user manual. We also get in this small box the adapters for the coffee and capsules. And depending on which type of coffee you want to make, you have to change the adapter accordingly. We get an adapter for ESE pods, which I won't use because I don't have this type of coffee. We also get an adapter for normal ground coffee, Dolce Gusto and Nespresso. A small note to take in consideration is that you'll likely find some watermarks on the adapters, but you don't have to worry. That just means that they tested them before they sent them to you. Moving on to the machine itself, and this is what it looks like. Inside the water tank, we get some other accessories. A spoon used to take the ground coffee and to press it, a pipe that is used in case the machine has some difficulties pumping out the water, and finally a piercing pin that is used to clean the powering nozzle on the Dolce Gusto adapter.
4 to 6 weeks later.
Okay, so I've been using this coffee machine for a few weeks now, and I have many thoughts about it. Let's start with the design and build quality. The design is actually okay, it's not something fancy. In fact, for the price you're paying, don't expect something high build quality either. The plastic is cheap, and even the sound that it makes when you turn it on and off or pressing on a button sounds cheap, and I don't like it. As for functionality, it's actually simple to use. There are three buttons: the on-off button, the large coffee button, and the short coffee button, and a lever that frees and blocks the adapter in place. And in the back, we also have the water tank. So after you turn on the machine, it takes less than a minute to warm up. In the meanwhile, you can prepare your capsule or coffee and pour water in the water tank. In this example, I'll only use coffee from Costa, and that's in order to answer a question that I had in mind for a while, and that is, which one between the three types will taste better, given that they are all from the same brand. I'll start with an espresso capsule. Then I'll use the Dolce Gusto. It's a little bit harder to close the lever for these types of capsules, so you just have to use some force. And finally, the ground coffee. I use the spoon that came in with the box and press it with the back to eliminate any bubbles in order to have a good coffee. And here we have it, 3 cups of coffee. First is Nespresso, second is Dolce Gusto, and the third is normal ground coffee. So which one tastes better? I think most of you already know the answer to that. And yes, you guessed it right, the ground coffee is better. It has a richer taste and is more concentrated, while the other 2 capsules tasted the same. So there you have it, now you know too. If you found this video useful, please consider subscribing and dropping a like, that would mean a lot. There are a few side notes that I want to mention that are important. The first coffee that I made with this machine was horrible, like it was really bad. It's like the coffee was burnt and I was tasting like there was plastic in it, and even the smell was not good. I was so confused that I thought maybe the capsule was bad. That's why I tried the same capsule in an Nespresso machine. And it was actually a good coffee, which is really weird. I saw many other reviews to see if someone else got this problem, but no one else mentioned it, so maybe it's just my unit that is defective. So what I did after is I kept using the machine without putting a capsule in it in order to clean it from the inside, and the water that was pouring had like plastic smell in it. I did this for a couple of times. Then I tried to put a capsule, and it tasted a little bit different this time, but it still didn't taste good. So I just decided that every time that I want to make a coffee, I'll first do it without the capsule first to clean it, and then put the capsule. After a couple of weeks of using it like that, the coffee started to taste better and better every day, and the smell became much nicer. That now it makes a better coffee than the Nespresso machine itself. So yeah, there is that. But there is something that I really like about the Nespresso machine. Did you see how easy and convenient it is to put a capsule in it? Which takes me to another thing that I don't like about this machine. That is how annoying it is that every time that I want to change the capsule, I have to make multiple steps. Open the lever, pull out the adapter, throw away the used capsule, put a new capsule, put the adapter back, close the lever, and then you can make your coffee. Another thing that the company mentions is that their machine is quieter than the competition. Well, I can say for sure that it is not the quietest I've heard. The Nespresso is definitely quieter. If your cup or mug is big and doesn't fit in there, just remove the cup support and you're good to go. It's actually really easy to remove it and put it back. And the last thing I'll mention is that if you think that your coffee is shorter or larger than your liking, you actually have the possibility to adjust the amount of coffee that is poured by pressing and holding the button you want to modify until you get the coffee you want. So now, for the question I put in the beginning, is this coffee machine any good? And my answer to this will be a yes, maybe. While it gives you the option to try many types of coffee out there, it still is time consuming to change the adapters every time. And the fact that it tasted bad at the beginning might be a deal breaker for many people. But as I said before, it might be just my unit that is defective. Apart that, I do recommend it. Okay, now let's move on to the milk frother. If you're a fan of all the cappuccinos and the lattes or any coffee with milk in general, this machine could be just the one for you. I wasn't actually interested much in it, but the results really surprised me. So as you saw in the unboxing, it comes with two whisks. The first is for heating and frothing to get a creamy milk with some nice foam, while the second is only for heating, with only some small foam. As you can see in the jug, you have two level scale marks that you should pay attention for. The higher is for the second whisk that heats milk, while the lower is for the whisk that froths the milk. If you ignore these instructions, you'll just end up with a mess, as I did. I didn't read them carefully, and this is what happened. That is not good. This is not good at all. Anyway, this is the result I got after my second try. If you want to have nicely done milk, you'll have to clean it after every use without ignoring the cautions, of course. And another great tip is after the milk is done, you have to pour it as quick as possible in the cup to get a perfect cappuccino. For the second whisk that only heats the milk, you can pour the milk until the higher maximum mark, and after a few seconds you'll get a warm milk with a small foam, and they both taste and look really good. The machine heats to approximately 65 degrees, which isn't neither hot nor cold. It's just the perfect temperature to enjoy your drink. And if you want to maintain your coffee warm the whole day, you can also use this coffee warmer, which I will review soon on my channel. So if you are interested, subscribe and hit that bell notification so you know when it will drop. I hope you enjoyed this video. You'll find the links for these products down in the description. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll try to answer all of them. Until next time, take good care of yourselves. Peace.